Syrian Arab Army maintains control on regime al-Assad in Damascus' southwestern countryside. Dia Abu Mudira, one of the persons who turned themselves into the Syrian authorities, asserts that what's happening in Syria is a conspiracy against the people and the state. In Busra, Sham, 20 archaeological sites registered among World Heritage are sabotaged by terrorists. Good afternoon. Chief of the General Staff of the Army and Armed Forces General Ali Abdullah Ayoub conducted a field tour of the southern region. General Ayoub, accompanied by officers from the General Command, inspected military posts in the towns of Al-Habariya, Khirbet Sultana and Hamrit in Damascus countryside. He relayed to the soldiers greetings from President Bashar al-Assad and was briefed by the field commander on the nature of the operations being carried out in the southern region. Ayoub praised the Syrian Arab Army's personnel for the swift and decisive victories they are achieving in the southern region, providing instructions to the personnel who affirm their commitment to combating terrorism and eliminating it. Syrian Arab Army, in cooperation with the National Defense Units, restored security and stability to Al-Habariya, Khirbet al-Sultana and Hamrit towns in Damascus' western countryside. Syrian Arab Army also maintained control over Tel Qurain and Fatima Hills in Dara's northwestern countryside, killing many Nusra terrorists and destroying their weapons. A statement by the General Command of the Army and the Armed Forces said that operations are still continuing on several axes in the area, amidst a state of chaos and collapse among the terrorist groups. A Syrian Arab Army unit controlled regime al-Assad area in Damascus countryside. Another army unit targeted terrorist gatherings in Arsal mountainous areas in Damascus countryside, destroying their machineries. A military source said that army units killed many terrorists in Hanano, al-Sukhur, Leiramoun, Old Aleppo and other areas in Aleppo and its countryside. In Idlib's countryside, Syrian Arab Army units destroyed terrorist dens with the vehicles inside, one of which was equipped with a heavy machine gun, killing 6 terrorists and injuring others in the surroundings of al-Bashiriya village in Jisr al-Shughur. Moreover, army units killed many ISIS terrorists, destroying their weapons and ammunition in Abyad, al-Dawudiyya and al-Maylabiyya area in Hasaka's countryside. Dia Abu Mudira is a person who turned himself into the specialized authorities after being convinced that what is happening in Syria is a conspiracy on the Syrian people and state. He pointed out that Takfir organizations threaten to kill anyone who even thinks of reconciliation, asserting that Qatar and Saudi Arabia finance them. He called on those who carry weapons to throw them and respond to reconciliation efforts.
My name is Dia Abu Mudira. I was an old person in al-Sali. I'm from Daraa. I handed over myself because I realized that it's a conspiracy against the Syrian people and the Syrian government, and it aims to destroy the Syrian facilities.
As far as you know, Israel is the only beneficiary of what's going on in Syria. Haven't this been circulated or talking about amongst the members of the same group that you were in?
Yeah, we realized that, but we was late in this point. But many people there know that Israel wants to destroy Syria and spread terrorism in it. But they were frightened from the terrorist organizations like Daesh and al-Nusra. That's why they didn't hand themselves over it. I was fighting in al-Sali with an organization named Usud al-Islam in Al-Jura lane.
According to your information, is there any agreement in between the armed groups like ISIS, Jabhat al-Nusra, the Free Syrian Army?
No. Free Syrian Army there fights al-Nusra and Daesh because they consider him as an enemy, like the government forces.
During your stay inside the group, didn't you notice that there are some Arab fighters or foreign fighters?
There were many Arab and foreign fighters in southern Damascus, and they were saying that they will go to Europe to fight the crucifiers and the misbelievers in Saudi Arabia and Qatar and all over Europe, and the biggest devil which is the United States of America. They will go there to fight these people when they finish, to fight these countries when they finish their mission in Syria.
Do you know any of their nationalities?
There were foreign fighters from Saudi Arabia, from Qatar, from Iraq, and they were from Turkey. They were fighting with Daesh and al-Nusra against the government forces.
What's the message that you are going to say for any armed person who is still with the armed people?
I told them to hand themselves over to the government and stop these things like shooting the government forces and slay the innocent people, and be convinced, and not to be convinced with the terrorist thoughts about killing and slaying innocent people, and hand themselves over to this country because it's the real mother to them.
Your message for the foreign fighters who are still fighting inside our country?
I told them to go back to their countries and stop these terrorist works and stop killing our innocent people and go back to their countries, not to fight in our country because our people is peaceful and they are terrorists, and kill the innocent people.
20 archaeological locations in the World Heritage Registered site Busra Sham have been under terrorist sabotage, with a daily assault of mortar and rocket shells on them. Busra's antiquities had affirmed that the terrorists swept under al-Shimais monastery completely and demolished most of the archaeological parts of al-Kalbiya, also known as Bed of King's Daughter. The sculptures were also destroyed. The old town was set ablaze and many of its houses were destroyed, in addition to the secret excavations inside some sites as a pursuit for taking out treasures. The damage was caused to Busra Citadel, the monk Buhaira Monastery, Mabrag al-Naqqa Mosque and Archbishop Palace due to daily terrorist attacks with mortar and rocket shells. Busra Sham is an archaeological city that is registered in the World Heritage List. Its famous citadel is one of Syria's most prominent archaeological forts, and it is distinguished for its multifunctional amphitheater, the only functionally integrated theater around the globe. With this, we conclude our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more details about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Serena, but after a short break.
Good afternoon. People's Assembly issued during its meeting headed by Muhammad Jihad al-Laham the plan of the law that includes amending the Article number 69 and the Article number 180, which are related to Vehicles and Traffic Law number 31 in 2014. The law comes as a wish of the Transportation Ministry to reconcile between the regulations, legislations and valid systems concerned with its work on one hand and the provisions of the Constitution for the year 2012 on the other. The Premier underlined the role of Syrian expats in building bridges between their countries of residence and homeland and cementing social, political and economic ties. During his meeting with a delegation from the Syrian community in Kuwait, the Premier hailed the role of the Syrians abroad in divulging the nature of the terrorist war against Syria, hailing their competence that qualified them for leadership positions. He urged Syrian expats to invest capital and service in development projects inside Syria to help in the rebuilding process. For their part, head of the delegation and members of the delegation pledged loyalty to their home country against terrorism. The Premier said that the government is keen to uproot all forms of corruption in the state's institutions, organizations and vocational unions through further enhancing the role of the supervision and control. During his meeting with Muhammad al-Safadi, who is in charge of undertaking the tasks of the Commission's assistant chairman, the Premier affirmed that all decisions of the Central Commission for Control and Inspection will be put into effect without delay or procrastination, as everyone will be held to account. He demanded that all files of corruptors be opened without favoritism or personal considerations, as no corruptors are immune whatsoever. The Premier also emphasized the necessity of supervision and early detection of any potential corruption cases to prevent future incidents. He pointed out that the government seeks to ensure all the requirements of the Commission to help it perform more effectively. The Turkish Statistics Commission revealed a sharp retreat at 2.6% last February in trusting the Turkish economy. In its statement, the Commission also attributed the mentioned retreat to the falling confidence in the retail and industrial sectors, as the retail sector retreated 0.8% in the Turkish markets. And now over to some main currencies exchange rates according to the bulletin of the Central Bank of Syria. With this, we conclude our economic news for today. Thank you for watching and goodbye.